Hello, fine people of Earth. I am Trevor, your master and guide on this channel, Pioneer Spirit.
Haha. All right, just trying to have a little bit of fun with the Yamaha FX board. All right, today's channel. Oh, first, I just want to thank everyone who's been commenting, liking, subscribing, hitting the bell notification, commenting. All of your help is greatly appreciated, and I thank you very much. Okay, I guess this is a little bit of what grinds my gears. And that's tipping. Am I a cheap tipper? Well, yeah, probably. I guess people would probably say I'm a cheap tipper. But I've always tipped at least, 10%. If the service is really even if the service is really crappy, I'm thinking, $100 bill. Okay, there's 10. That's probably cheap. But I mean, if it's really bad service, the waitress are just not around, bad service. I have yet to get up from a restaurant and leave. I've never done that, but yeah, I've given $5-10. Just it's kind of like I'm gonna give you something, but it's gonna be like you're going to look at that and go, yeah, I guess I had bad service. So maybe that sharpens the person up for the next customers that come in. But so tipping, I mean, I'm 51. Throughout my lifetime, every job I've ever had, I've worked in different places. They don't give you tips. I could never take a tip when I worked in the an ER, a DR, or OR. I worked in a hospital, 7 hospitals here in across Canada. I didn't get tips for anything I ever did. But it's just been always my understanding that restaurants and bars and whatnot, you give the waiter, the waitress tips, at the end of your meal, the bartender, put a couple bucks in the old tip jar. That's how, that's always been the kind of the way, tipping, right? But my what grinds my gears, what makes me just is the fact that you go like I don't go out to fast food joints all that much. Subway's probably the one place I guess I'd go to and try to avoid the McDonald's and whatnot. But like I don't know when Subway started doing this. To be honest, Subway. I had Subway. I'm sorry. I just made a previous video about trying to get over COVID. I've had COVID now for 15 days. I'm just going to put holes in my mouth to try to quell the coughing here. Putting it on mute every whatever. Anyways, the last time I went to a Subway was the summer of 2014. And two things. First of all, back then, I bought subs for 2 adults, counting myself, so 2 adults and a child, and I really don't think it came to more than $30 at the most. Now you go to Subway for 2 adults and a child, it's $50 at least, so $52 and $51 respectively. The last 2 times that I've went there, which isn't very much. That's since the summertime. But you know what really grinds my gears about a place like Subway is the fact that now that when they hand you the debit card, so now not only is it nearly double what I would pay just a few years ago, now they want tips. It says right on there, look, add in the percentage of tip you would like, or 10, 15, 20% or whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm all good with giving tips to the waiter and waitresses, bartenders, bars and restaurants. Okay, you do really good, at those places, man. You're gonna get a good tip. For me, a good tip is like that's a 50%. If the bill's $100 bill and I've left you 50, which very rarely happens, but I've left $40 before, and 40% tip, that's pretty darn good, I think. But I don't get this whole everybody's got to have a tip now. I bet you, like, I haven't worked in the hospitals now. I worked from 96 until 2017. Maybe they accept tips there now. maybe maybe after, oh, here's the patient, here's your debit machine, please give, I don't get this whole everybody's got a tip thing. Subway, like, look, I go in, I order, whatever sub I want. It's always been the same service and whatnot. It was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I really don't know when all this tipping for everything that you do now started, but it's just the same service I'm getting today as I did even 20 years ago. So you go in, I'll have the cold cut combo, turkey sub, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. They make it. You get to the till, you pay, and you go. Why on earth now do I have to tip everybody? Subway. Why? Another example, we had the carpets cleaned about, 6 months ago. And the fellow that came here from the time he pulled into the driveway, the time he left the driveway, at most, I think I got him for an hour and 15 minutes in our house. And it was $400. Oh, geez, I thought, damn, I'm in the wrong line of work here. This fella pulls up and an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. Not very long to, we got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home here. And there's, I thought, hey, that's, anyways, I don't think he was here that long to get $400. They did a good job, but at the end, he hands me the debit machine. So I go to put in my card. And of course, the first thing that pops up is, tip, 10, 15, 20%, whatever, add your own percentage. And I thought, what is going on here? It was like, I put no tip. Subway, no tip. Carpet cleaner, no tip. Pretty much, I don't tip. I don't tip unless I'm in a restaurant. Okay, if I was up at the bar getting a beer, casinos in Las Vegas. South Point, really great. I got no interest, no stake in that place, but I remember going there and it was a fantastic place. And I remember putting $10 on the waitress's tray, and she was like, "Oh," but she kept coming back. I mean, there was endless supply of those Guinness and Black Russians. I remember every once in a while I just put like a $5 or $10. She probably got $40 from me or something at the end of the night. In total, I just was great service. She kept coming back, and obviously you didn't pay for the beers. I didn't pay for the drinks, and I had a little bit more than I should have. But there was no, hey, oh yeah, can you? Here's the debit machine. Can you add me a tip? I find it so offensive now. Everybody wants a tip. Everybody wants a tip. It's getting to the point where I don't want to tip anybody, even going to a restaurant. Now I'm like, they even at the restaurant now, they add it all on. Here's your, and some restaurants, oh, this really grinds my gears. They give you the bill and there's already like a 10 or 15%. It's not very high, but there's at least like a 10 to 15% added tip, whether you want to give a tip or not. That really grinds my gears, okay? When the restaurant, it's screw you. That's like, screw you. The service, maybe I didn't even want to leave it. You shouldn't force people to leave a tip. Okay, here's the thing. I do find it customary in places like restaurants because, God forbid the owner pays his employees, the good employees, a good salary. And some of them he's going to have in there, they're just going to do the job. They're only there for a month or two maybe and whatever. I do have a bit of a grind my gears with that too. Restaurant owners, they only pay the employees what the government mandates they have to pay, whether that's, I don't know, minimum wage or whatever like that. I'm really not into that. As someone who is a capitalist business owner, I want to pay people what they're worth. If I had a restaurant and I had 10 people in it working for me and 7 of them were superstars and 3 were just okay, and then I knew they were just there for the summer, I don't know, you pay them the minimum amount and they can collect their little bit of tip if they get one. But job performance in a restaurant, I mean, that's why you give sometimes. You could have a $100 bill and they might get a $40 tip. I think that's pretty darn good. If they've done a good job, that's fine. But why in the heck are we giving everybody tips now? Why? It's offensive to me. It's like everybody hands you this thing. My local town, there's a good fish and chip place, just a takeout. It's like a little hole in the wall. It's not in the greatest part of the town that I live in, but it's really good fish and chips. Okay, and right now the prices of fish and chips for two adults and a child now it's through the roof. It's like I think it's about $65 now. It used to be just like a year ago it was like 40 and then 50, and they just keep jumping the prices up. Well, now they got guess what they got now? They hand you the machine, and it's like, do you want to add a tip here? And I'm like, it's so offensive to me. What I would find better if you can, at your Subways. Especially places like that. Like I couldn't figure out the carpet cleaner guy. Like I asked him, like, you own the company? Oh yeah, I'm like, I own, part owner, and like what? Like why the hell are you adding that onto your machine? Tips. Give me a break. You just charged me $400 for just a little over an hour's work. Subway. Okay, hey, I'll go back to the Subway thing. Fine. You want to put a little tip jar out there? Go ahead. Fine. That's fine. It's like the bartender. They have a little glass jar there. You throw them a couple bucks. But everybody, even now, to get back to the fish and chip place, I wouldn't mind. I've never seen a tip jar there, but now they have that added onto their machine, and I'm like, literally, I look at their business going, I'd like to actually open up a takeout fish and chip place. I'm like, you get the good fish, the cod, the halibut, fresh cut potatoes. I don't think it takes rocket science to run a takeout. It's not even a restaurant, just take it. But now they have on their machine. I find it offensive. It's like, fuck, man. Like some places, the low effort to get something, and the prices are expensive on things now. I mean, they're outrageously expensive. You can hardly take your family out now without, just McDonald's, for example. I don't, oh my God, I haven't seen on their machines yet if they have a tip. But just, in the summertime, 2 adults and a child, McDonald's was $45. I thought, what's going on here? And then, sure enough, they'll probably add it on a tip. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, your food, everything's so expensive right now as it is. So if you're watching this and you got a little independent place or your Subway or something, get rid of that tip thing on your machine, okay? You're not going to get a tip. You're working at Subway. You're giving me the same service in 2023 that I got in 2013, 2003, 1993. It's the same damn setup. It's the same freaking thing. You go in, I'll have a turkey sub. Boom, boom, boom. They do it. You pay. Why now do I have to add a tip? Everybody wants a tip. Here's a tip. Don't add that onto your goddamn debit and credit card machines and piss people off, because that's what you're doing. I've scoured the interwebs for these videos too, and there's a lot more people going, why is tipping? It's become outrageous. Everybody wants a fucking tip. I don't get it. Everywhere you go now, with exclusion to McDonald's. I still haven't seen McDonald's at it, but I'm sure that'll come by next summer. They'll probably have a tip option on their debit machine. Everybody wants a tip. Here's a tip for you too. Just have a glass jar out and pay for cash. Just give cash. If you're going to tip, and this is, I've known this for years. I'm 51, and I remember back in my 20s, friends of mine who are waiters and waitresses, they cash tip is what they want. You tip people cash. Because you know what? I know Mr. IRS, or you're listening going, oh, really? Why? Why pay cash? Well, guess what? If you're a waiter or waitress, if they make $100 or $200 at a night of work in cash, it's better. Okay, you know why? If you're an old-timer waiter, waitress, you worked in the bars back in the 90s and before that, or in the 2000s, or even today, everybody wants a cash tip. That's what you should be doing.
Cash. Cash tips only. Cash. Tip me in cash, dummy.
So you see, yeah. So when you tip people, do it in cash. But really, how did tipping get beyond restaurants and bartenders and bars and taverns or whatever? How? Well, it just blows my mind away. Everybody wants a tip now. So here's my advice. Hey, Mister Owner of Subway and whatever else is out there. It's not. If you're not like a real restaurant, Subway's not a real restaurant. Okay, just to let you know, take off that tip option. If you want to have the employees, the individual owners of these franchises want to, hey, put a tip jar out there. Fine. If I see a tip jar, I'm more inclined to reach in my pocket and put a couple bucks in there because tipping should always be done in cash. Christ, leave them a silver coins or something like that, okay? That'd be far better. So, but just don't tip on your debit cards. It's you just don't do it, and stop doing it. Everybody, everybody wants a tip now, and you got to grow some cojones, okay? You got to grow some cojones. I don't mind saying no. I don't like, because I can look at them like, you hand them back the machine like, he put no tip. Of course I put no tip. Because you don't deserve it. Not everybody deserves a tip. Okay? Your waiter, waitress, bartender, yeah, fine. You can get a tip. You're going to get a tip. And if you do even a bad job from me, I would say a cheapskating tip, and you're still going to get like a 10% tip. It's going to be cash. So, yeah, that's what grinds my gears. Tipping. Not everybody deserves a tip. Okay? So there you go. Hope everybody's having a good day. Goodbye. Bye-bye.